Hi everybody, and it's Danny for the News Cartridge for Friday, September 4th, 2015. And we're trying something different with the audio today. We've got a pop filter that I just haven't used on the show before, so let me know if the audio is any better. Let me know if it's any worse. Thank you. Well, our first story today is actually about Arkham Knight. Yesterday I had reported that some users were able to download and use the new interim patch, but Warner Brothers quickly fixed that by reversing that patch. Well, they then yesterday reversed that reversal and released the patch sometime during the evening, quickly and rather quietly. The patch is said to have fixed many issues, including frame rate issues and hitches, VRAM optimizations, improvements to performance on updated drivers, which actually the game told me to update my drivers when I first launched it, which is a really welcome addition. I actually rather liked that. More comprehensive in-game settings, fix the low texture bug, as well as fixing hitching while running on regular spinning hard drives, which I myself had encountered. I was forced to put the game onto an SSD in order to make it playable at all. Also, speaking from experience, I did see an increased frame rate. It did hover around 60, dropping as low as 56, which is perfectly fine, completely acceptable, even while driving around in the Batmobile at top speed. I also didn't see any texture bug, but to be fair, I had only played for a few minutes right before writing and filming this, and I'll probably take a better look at it when I play through it again at a later date. So other users have actually reported still having these issues of low frame rate and the texture bug, and I actually seem to be one of the lucky ones for a while. For once, I usually get trouble with games, so it's nice to see it working. Also to note that at the time of writing this, the game is still not for sale on Steam yet. So leave a comment below on what you think, or how Arkham Knight is performing for you. Thank you very much. A new patch is coming for Rocket League, the half driving game, half soccer or football game that is an absolute blast to play. The new 1.05 patch will allow PC players to filter out PS4 players if they choose to not want to play against them. More on this in a little bit. It will also bring a new music UI to allow you to scroll through and play your favorite music tracks from the game, as well as a fine new match option to ranked games, which I also thought was silly to have to go back to the main menu in order to play another ranked match. It should have just been there already, but alright, well, it's coming. So, also to go back from what I was saying about the PS4 filter, I do think that most PC players would be in favor of this. I'm really not for it. That's not to say that I'm against it either. I'm not against it. I'm just not for it. I'm just not going to use it myself. If you want to use it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. And quite frankly, it probably should be there. Not going to use it. I just don't see the point. It's a driving game overall. You know, you're not really, I don't really see the advantage of using a keyboard and mouse to driving, maybe having better control over the camera, but driving itself, I've always felt like it's better with a controller. So I really feel like this game comes down to personal preference, and that's why I personally don't see a difference. I think a PS4 player could kick my ass with a controller, because I personally use a controller when I play this game. Leave a comment below about why you think mouse and keyboard is better to help me understand maybe why more PC players would want this, or let me know if you play with PC and a controller on Rocket League. As you may or may not know, I do game releases at the end of every episode. There's always new games coming out. I like doing it. It's kind of fun rattling off all the games. And to be quite frank, it eats up time. When I heard about this game called Playing History 2 Slave Trade, I actually awarded it my the fuck game of the week, and it started a whole new segment for me. But this, and actually two games have gotten that, but this one was for a completely different reason. This game featured a slave Tetris minigame, where you have to pack the slave pieces, this little guys on Tetris pieces, into the slave ship. Yeah, it's as horrible as it sounds, really. The game has been forced to remove this element from the overall game itself, and probably for good reason, because it's racist. And while I do think it's not a good idea to forget the past, and it is a good idea to have games to teach people about the intricacies of the slave trade. Slave Tetris is a horrible, horrible joke. That's not how you teach people about slavery. That's I think this is a really, really good idea to have this be removed from the game. There's teaching history, and then there's also being tasteful. And yeah, well, there is some sort of truth behind that. That is not at all how to portray that at any means. So, where's my soapbox for this episode? I need to get a soapbox. All right, with our last story, I promise no big deep opinions, no blah 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 blah. A Mega Man movie has actually been confirmed to be made by 20th Century Fox. Hopefully it will be good. I'm hoping it'll be good with the amount of superhero movies and comic book things that have been coming out. Video game movies are right up our alley. I mean, fingers crossed on this one. My wife is super duper interested in this. So no word yet as to whether or not the film will be live action or animated, CGI. But I would have to guess that it's live action because that's generally what they're doing these days. But I'll have more on this when more information is available. I'm definitely interested in seeing this one. And finally, on to tomorrow's game releases. Oh, there aren't any because tomorrow's Saturday. Yay, no editing job. Woo! Alright, thank you very much, everybody. This has been News Cartridge. I am Dandruff. I will see you tomorrow. And how did the Paladin start losing weight? He ate light.